Hi, this is Margaret from Margaret's Crafts. I want to share with you a little project that I just got done working on, and it's a homemade smash book. I went to Hobby Lobby and I went looking for the Project Life items, and they didn't have them in at the time. So I used my 40% off coupon, and I wanted to do a smash album. And I wanted to work on a smash album for like the pictures that I found around the house. You know, when you're cleaning out something, you find an old picture, and in my regular photo albums, I have them all in chronological order. And this way, with the smash book, whenever I find a picture, I'll just stick it in the, make a section for it in the book, and that's that. And I wanted to have one also for all the cards that I get. When I receive cards from, my family and friends, I put them in a basket, and that's just where they stay. And my basket is like, because this is years, it's overflowing. And so I wanted to take the cards because I like to look through them. And what I started to do in my Project Life is I take a picture of the card, and then I write down the verse that was in it, and then write down what my family wrote in the card. So that got to be a little bit much. So I decided I wanted a smash book to put my my cards in. And I was thinking, well, I'll buy one, and then, because when I looked at it at the store, I'm like, I think I can make that. So I decided to come home and, to buy this one, almost tear it apart, but not tear it apart, and figure out how it's made, and then make one, make one for whatever situation I want to have one for. And so I had bought that, brought it home, went exploring on YouTube, just watching YouTube videos and stuff and seeing how everybody else is doing their smash books, and came across a video by Baby Tweetums. She has a thing to make, she has video to make a homemade smash book, and I watched hers, and she already took the idea that I was going to do and made it into made her smash book. And so I watched her video, and then I just tweaked it a little bit for what I wanted it to be. Here's the smash book, and the way that it's made with the coils, I'm like, I have the bind it all, and I also have the cinch so I can punch my own holes. And I was just figuring out how to make this. Well, she already took care of that little section for me. And this is the smash book that I have bought, and I'm going to use this for, like I said, the pictures when we find around the house. So I'm going to start using that. And this was the one that I made. I wanted one a little bit bigger to hold my cards. And like this Mother's Day for my husband, I got a really large card, and I was going to put it in even the book that I made, because I made this out of the 8.5 by 11. And what I did was I had all those packs of Graphic 45, and I took the whole mixture of all of them, and I took one sheet out of all of them, cut it down to the 8.5 by 11, and then I made my covering just like I make my covering. I did my covering a little bit different from hers. I made my covering just like I made the covers in my other mini albums, where I use the Tyvek to connect my spine to my my front and my back, so that it could get a lot of wear in there. So there's Tyvek on that, and also on this insert that you make. You'll see it in her book where she made it. I also added Tyvek to this area and also extend it out, so this could take a lot of wear and tear with people, opening and shutting it. And I found that I really, really, really love making these spiral albums, and now with the hard cover, I love it. And this is what it isn't a Graphic 45 paper on the outside. It's some other paper, because I like to use the scrapbooking paper instead of cardstock when I make my my chipboard albums, because it wraps around the pages a lot better. So that is what I made, and like I said, it's Tyvek up underneath this section right here, and that's the back covering. And this is from the heirloom collection by We Are Memory Keepers, the paper. And the way I made this larger, so the paper didn't fit enough to wrap around the edges. So they had another paper that had what looked like lace across the front. So I put the paper so far down, then I added that paper with the other, with enough room to flip it over. And I did the same thing on the back. That same sheet of paper that had the lace, it had some other embellishments that I thought that just blend it right on in, and unless you're touching it, you really can't tell that it's a piece of paper there. And the way that I did the spine, I cut it out on an angle to make it large enough that it goes all the way down. So if you look inside, you can't see where my paper ends because it ends so far down. And what I did with my Tyvek to make it match my spine here, I just took the ink and inked it so far down on each side. Now when I was putting this together, I would have used brown for my my attachments for my spine, but I thought I was going to use black on the insert when I made it, and after I got it all done, I decided I wanted brown. So my next one I'll make for sure, I figure out what paper I want on the inside before I make the spine so it all matches. So here is my book, and my first card was so large that it would have taken up the whole page. So what I did was I made the pocket, and all I did was take a piece of cardstock and I glued it on the three sides and added some ribbon and a piece of trim that I cut off and added that in. And the card is from my husband's, and it was for Mother's Day, and I put a stamp here, and that was my very first page that I did in this book. And then here is, just like the other the Smash book, it's just cardstock. And I took a piece of Graphic 45 and then I mixed them all up so that I have the circus, the Proper Gentleman, La Romantique. Everything is all mixed up with I just put it in there, and I just started swishing around all the different papers and made my album like that. And I also put a pocket in the back as I'm going around now my newer cards like that I had just got for my birthday. And my husband just came downstairs. We're up in our bedroom. He found that I had some more cards upstairs on our dresser, so he brought those down. I'm going to add those to here. And then I had a picture. I had this envelope to store my pictures in, because this is going to go along with one of my cards that I have. So I put that in there, and I keep all my extra. And then I added a pin loop. And the pin loop that I used from Staples, the adhesive pin holder, and I put that down, figured out where I wanted my pin loop to go, and then I put my pocket down and glued it down on the three sides. And so I used the same paper, so it kind of blends in. You can't see it that much, but it's okay with me. And I did mine just like they did theirs. The back, I did my back cover kind of sticks out just a little bit more to hold the, so that it's not bothering where the pin is. And that is my homemade Smash Book album that I'm going to be using for all of my cards that I receive. And then, like I said, with this one is going to house all old pictures that we come across at the house. And that's my video for today. Thank you very much for watching my video. Bye.